Hello, today we're going to talk about articles. There are two types of articles. We have the definite article, which is the. We have the indefinite article, which is an. We use the definite article to talk about something specific, as the indefinite article is used to talk about one thing out of many possible ones. This is the loose definition of when we use them. We will talk about those a little more in a moment. First of all, what is the difference between and? Well, let's look at these examples. A banana, a monkey, a lamp. These three words begin with a consonant, B, M, L. Whereas these three begin with a vowel, an orange, O, an elephant, E, an iron, I. Let's look at this example. A hotel, an hour, a university, an umbrella. H is a consonant as a letter, generally, and U is a vowel. But the way we pronounce the words here, hotel and university, are consonant sounds. Hour and umbrella are vowel sounds. So we use a before a consonant sound, not a consonant letter necessarily. And an comes before a vowel sound, not necessarily a vowel letter. Now, let's look at a and an in a bit more detail. So yes, we use it to talk about one thing out of many. We can use it to talk about jobs. For example, I am a teacher. We use it with singular countable nouns. So this is a pen. We use it with the numbers 100, 1,000, 1,000,000. We can say 100, 1,000, 1,000,000. But don't say, we can say instead. We use it with exclamations with singular countable nouns. For example, what a beautiful day. What an exciting event. We use it with expressions of frequency. For example, once a week, 3 times a month. Let's talk about the. We use the to talk about a unique person or thing. For example, the sun. There is only one sun. The Queen, if we're talking about the Queen of England, there is only one of her. We use it to talk about specific things that are clear from the context. For example, if I tell my children the books, it's clear from the context which books I am referring to, the ones that are out. We use it to talk about things we have already mentioned. For example, this is a pen. The pen is black. We use it with superlatives like the biggest, the best, the most interesting. We use it to talk about a generic class of things. For example, the panda is endangered. We're talking about pandas in general, but as the generic class. So So we use it with the singular form and the. We use it to talk about oceans, seas, rivers, and deserts, like the Atlantic Ocean, the China Sea, the Thames River, the Sahara Desert. Use it to talk about mountain ranges or groups of islands, like the Himalayas or the Alps, the British Isles. Use it with countries if they have a common noun in the name. For example, Great Britain does not need the because it is a name, but the United Kingdom needs the because kingdom is a common noun. Russia doesn't need the article, but the Russian Federation does because federation is a noun. Areas such as the north, the south, the east. Places in the town like the bank, the police station, the train station, even if there are more than one. Names of hotels, cinemas and theatres, for example, the Theatre Royal, the Hilton, the Showcase Cinema. Newspapers also use the in front of them, like the Times, the Independent, the Guardian, the Daily Mail. National groups such as the English, the French. And roads that have a letter and a number in them. For example, in England, we have motorways such as the M1 or main roads like the A50. And zero article. This is when we don't need an article. We don't with uncountable, plural, and abstract nouns when we're talking in general about these things. For example, accommodation can be difficult to find in a popular city. The names of continents, countries, and places like villages, cities, towns, and so on. We don't need an article with those. Now, mentioned a mountain range had the article the, but the name of a mountain itself does not need an article. For example, Mount Everest is in the Himalayas. The Himalayas is the range, Mount Everest is the name of the mountain. And I mentioned that oceans, seas, rivers have the article the, but lakes is the only body of water that doesn't have an article. Streets and roads, we don't use an article unless it's a number or a letter road like A50. Magazines, so newspapers we do use the, but magazines we don't use the. For example, Cosmopolitan is a popular magazine. Illnesses, for example, flu, indigestion, we don't use an article, but symptoms of an illness, we do use the indefinite article a. For example, I've got a headache, I've got a stomachache, I'm getting a cold, I think I have flu. We don't use an article with school, university, college, home, work, prison, hospital, bed, and class. When we're talking about these places or things for their intended use. For example, he goes to school. The school is there for learning, so he goes to school. But if we're talking about the building, the school is on the corner. He is in hospital. He's not well, he's in hospital, he's staying there. He's there because he's unwell. But she works in the hospital. She's not there because she's ill. She's there for a job. She's there for a different reason, not because she's ill. Therefore, we're talking about the building. So if we're talking about the building or the specific item, then we would use the. We're talking about traveling by transport. We don't use the. For example, I go to work by car. He goes to work by train. She goes to work by bus. If we're talking about a specific method of transport, then you would use the article the. For example, I got on the number 10 bus. Meals. We don't use an article with meals such as breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, brunch, and so on. Let's do a bit of practice. Have a look at this sentence. Do you think it's right or wrong? So, I usually go to work by the tram, but yesterday I went by the car. We don't need the before tram or before car because we're talking about transport. Here, which is correct? Sarah is 13 and is still at a school or the school or just school. But Jonathan is now at a, the, or zero article, university studying English. Yes, it's the zero article in both cases. We're talking about school and university for the purpose of studying that they were built for. Which is correct here? I've got two pens, a or the Parker, and a or the biro. A or the Parker is much nicer, but I usually use a or the biro. Well, in the first sentence, we need a Parker and a biro because we mentioned them for the first time. In the second sentence, we need the Parker and the biro because we're talking about the two pens that we have already. Now, in these two sentences, see if you can find two mistakes in each sentence. Madras is in the south of the India on east coast. I live in a flat in city centre, very close to the King Street. In the first one, we don't need the before India because it's the name of the country. But we need the east coast because we're specifying which coast. In the second sentence, I live in a flat in the city centre. There is only one city centre. Very close to King Street. We don't need an article with the name of. Now, fill in the gaps with a, an, the, or nothing. I met the Queen of England when I was in the UK. So the Queen, there is only one. England doesn't need an article because it's a name. When I was in the UK, UK, United Kingdom, kingdom is a common noun. So we need the with the name. Now, which of these should begin with the? Indian Ocean, Mediterranean, Lake Ontario, Amazon. So those four are bodies of water. Andes, Mount Everest, Himalayas, Mount Fuji. These are mountain areas. So the Indian Ocean, the Mediterranean, because it's a sea. Lake Ontario does not need the article. The Amazon, that is a river. The Andes, that's the name of a. But Mount Everest does not need the because it's one mountain. Himalayas, we need the. It is a mountain range. But Mount Fuji is one mountain, so it doesn't need the. What about here? Larry couldn't find a job, one job out of many possible jobs, because he was in prison. So he had committed a crime. He was in prison, not for work or anything, not visiting. He was there as a prisoner, so no article. Which is correct here. Jack and Jill live at the or nothing top of a or the block of flats in a, the or nothing centre of the or nothing, New York. Well, they live at the top because there is only one top of a block of flats. If we say the block of flats, that would mean there is only one block of flats. But I'm sure there are many, so a block of flats, meaning one out of many. In the centre, there is only one centre of New York. No article, it is the name of the city. The or no article. Lake Titicaca, no article, because it's the name of a lake. Is located in Peru. No article, it's the name of the country. And it's the highest lake, the, because highest is a superlative. In the world, there is only one world. I hope that helped you. Thank you for watching.